All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Rakesh Naidu. I'm the President and CEO of the Windsor-Essex Regional Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for joining us here, and thanks to our partner CMHA for working with us to put this event together. We are at a time when it is quite obviously very challenging for everyone, especially for the business community, because it's been almost 2 years of constant struggle to keep oneself afloat, to just hang in there, and it hasn't gotten any easier. The current restrictions we all know is very painful, and we don't necessarily know when we are going to be out of the current restrictions. Though we have a date of January 26th. We haven't yet got the information whether things will change post Jan 26. So we're hoping, and we're working with the provincial government, to come up so that they can come up with information and there's more clarity in terms of what's going to happen next. But clearly, all of this adds to the stress level that we all are going through. And it's not easy as business owners. It's not easy as employees to really go through this for such a long time. Clearly, our mental health has suffered because of this. And even before COVID, mental health related issues, costed the economy $51 billion. Every week, about 500,000 people would not show up to work because of some mental health related issues. So clearly, there is a relation, there is an association of mental health, workforce, and the productivity. And CMHA is the subject matter expert here. They'll share maybe a lot more information than we can. But every year, $6 billion plus is lost due to lost productivity associated with mental health issues. So it's an issue which is significant. It is costing everyone. It's costing businesses. And this numbers that I'm sharing with you is pre-COVID. With COVID and post-COVID, that number is unfortunately going to change drastically and for the worse. So we as employees and we as employers have to do our part in terms of making it possible for people to be able to to really deal with issues related with mental health, and also have the ability to to have a conversation and be open about it, so that we can get rid of the stigma associated with it. And a survey that was done by the Chamber Network some time back found that 89% of businesses say that they would like to invest, or they would like to have a process in place, and they would like to take more steps to address workplace employee well-being and mental health. Unfortunately, only 53% of those said that they have now taken steps to execute some of those strategies that can help employees' well-being. So there's still quite a bit of gap in terms of what the intention is and what has been done. So a lot more needs to be done. And clearly with COVID, I think that effort needs to be improved significantly. So that's something that the Chamber Network is very clear about, that we see a relation between mental health, employee well-being, productivity, and overall profitability of the businesses. So here we are today. We want to make sure that we're doing our part to support employees, to support businesses, support the employers. And this partnership with CMHA is a fantastic way for us to to do something in this regard and to take the right steps forward. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Wendy Fulton, and over to you, Wendy. Oh, you're on mute, Wendy.
Oh, there. Good morning, everyone. My name is Wendy Fulton, and I'm the Digital Events Platform Developer with the Windsor-Essex Chamber of Commerce. Please welcome Carrie Davis with CMHA. Carrie has worked at CMHA in different capacities for the past 14 years. Her current role at CMHA is as a workplace outreach worker. In this role, she provides mental health education, brief therapy, and service navigation to employees in Windsor-Essex County. She's a registered social worker with a master's in social work. If you have any questions for Carrie during the webinar, please put them in the chat and they'll be answered when Carrie is finished speaking. So without further ado, Carrie, I'll pass the floor over to you.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me here to do this talk. I'm just gonna share my screen. So today I'm going to talk about achieving optimal mental wellness in the winter time. Just put on the presenter view here. Sorry, I'm just trying to swap this out. So does everybody see that? Do you guys see the slide presentation? I'm just going to start with the land acknowledgement. While it's a well-traveled land, I respectfully acknowledge and express my sincerest gratitude to be able to gather, work, learn, and reside today in the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of the First Nations, comprised of the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi peoples. I identify as a settler and acknowledge the importance of the treaties and am committed to the calls to action in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada. Indigenous peoples continue to experience trauma caused by colonial violence. At CMHA, we are committed to advocating for and reconciling with Indigenous communities across Canada. So I just want to put this out there. Is it a myth or a fact that Blue Monday is the saddest day of the year? Any ideas from folks? Can write it in the chat. So I'll just go ahead and let everybody know it's fact, myth. So we've got different people saying different things. That according to CMHA National, Blue Monday is not scientifically the saddest day of the year. It was a marketing strategy to create the opportunity for people to go on vacation in January. However, what is very real that is happening is people are feeling sad this time of year, and we would attribute that to seasonal affective disorder or the winter blues. And coupling that with the pandemic and the fact that already 82% of Canadians are feeling sad or having negative emotions due to the pandemic, you can see how all that compounds to make it feel like a very difficult time of year. Blue Monday also came into play because of the holidays are over and people are starting to get their bills in the mail and they haven't been seeing family or friends for some time. So they're feeling these effects. So Blue Monday actually is not the saddest day of the year, but it is a very difficult time for many people. Today, during this presentation, we're going to talk about seasonal affective disorder, winter blues, isolation, and loneliness. And I'm going to sprinkle in tips throughout after those sections about how to manage symptoms, and then talk about local resources for mental health. Do you guys see this? So that's just a little video to explain a little bit about SAD, but seasonal affective.
Carrie, the video didn't play.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. Oh boy. Okay, so similar to depression, seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression that is affected individuals during different seasons. So most people will notice if they have SAD that it happens during the fall and in winter months, and it will occur most notably when the daylight is shorter. But sometimes it impacts people during the spring and summer. So in order to get a diagnosis for SAD, you would need to have had depression during the winter and fall months for more than a year, like for 2 years in a row. Sorry, okay. These are the signs and symptoms of SAD. So generally speaking, they're the same as an individual who has depression. They have low mood, loss of interest in pleasurable activities, change in appetite. So they're eating more or less, feeling irritable, stressed or anxious, unexplained aches and pains, change in sleeping. So sometimes people are sleeping more or they're sleeping less. They have difficulty concentrating, fatigue, lack of energy, reduced sex drive. Sometimes people use substances to help them cope. So in order to be diagnosed with SAD, you would have to have the first one or two of the top symptoms of depressed low mood and loss of interest, and then at least 5 of the ones below. And that would happen for 2 or more weeks to diagnose depression. But for SAD, like I said, it would be, you would note that in 2 years. So you would notice the depression both in the winter 1 year and then the next year. But it doesn't mean you can't get help. If you're depressed, if it's happening for 2 or more weeks, seek out help from a doctor. While the exact causes of SAD are unknown, most theories are attributed to the daylight hours. So the shorter days and the reduction in exposure to sunlight that occurs in the winter are thought to affect the body by disrupting the circadian rhythms. So that'll upset the person's biological clock, which controls their sleep-wake patterns. And it causes disturbances in their neurotransmitters, and such things as the production of melatonin and the production of serotonin. We have protective factors and risk factors for SAD. So women are more likely to be diagnosed with SAD at 80%, whereas men, only about 20% of men are diagnosed. And then as you age, your risk factor for SAD is lessened. So as you get older, you're less likely to have SAD, and a family history of SAD will be a risk factor for other family members being diagnosed with SAD. But the protective factors include diet, eating healthy, exercising, getting outside, vitamin D, taking supplements, and taking time to care for yourself. Here's just a little checklist to discover if you have SAD. So you can ask yourself these questions. Are you sleeping all the time or having trouble falling asleep? Are you tired and it's hard to carry out daily tasks? Has your appetite changed? Are you craving more sugary, starchy foods? Have you been gaining weight? Do you feel sad, guilty, or down on yourself, feeling hopeless, irritable? Are you avoiding people or activities that you used to enjoy? Are you feeling tense or stressed? And have you lost interest in sex or physical activity? And then this is a screening tool if you are wanting to talk to a doctor or somebody about this is a good screening tool to use ahead of time. It's called the Seasonal Pattern Assessment Questionnaire. And then it just asks you what your sleep is like, your mood, appetite. Are you exercising? Do you have energy levels? And it's something that you can bring along with you to your doctor to open up conversation about this disorder. And if you are recognizing that you have SAD or combating its downward spiral, there are things that you can do about it. So if it's something that you've been diagnosed with and you know that it might happen again, planning for the bad times can make it helpful. It could be helpful to plan for the bad times. So setting up a wellness plan or a toolkit that would include things such as self-care, non-negotiables, what you need to do to care for yourself, so that when you're down, you know that there's this list there and it can identify the things that will help you, because sometimes when we're stressed out or depressed, we can't come to those conclusions ourselves. So if we see that written down, it can help us to maintain a level of functioning. You can include things such as a list of organizations to contact or family or friends, a crisis plan, or things to do just in case. And part of SAD is having negative emotions. So when people are depressed, their thoughts are focused on the negative. So they'll see details in the world that are mostly negative and they ignore the positive stuff. But a breathing technique is helpful to use when we're feeling anxious in situations and our sympathetic system is heightened. So we might not be breathing, having equal breaths, and we're in a heightened sense of arousal. And to bring that down back to our parasympathetic system of relaxation, we can use different breathing techniques to calm our mind. So this is just one example. You can sit or you can do it standing, inhaling a deep breath, and you can inhale that breath for 4 and then hold it for 4, exhale for 4. Or there's different patterns for different people. Some people don't like to hold, so they can do like inhale for 11 or inhale for 7, exhale for 11, just depending on what works for you. Research has shown that taking a moment to stop when you're feeling anxious and doing breath work will help you to better be able to manage your symptom and carry on with your whatever task you're doing. Again, I'm going to go through a few examples of how to manage some of the negative thoughts that you're having. So distraction is another way that we can help ourselves manage any negative thinking. What happens when we're feeling depressed is that, again, like I said, that our mind focuses on the negative. Our mind has automatic thoughts and it is always thinking. It's its job. So what happens is that a situation comes up and then we have an automatic thought. So sometimes when you're laying in bed and your mind doesn't stop going, or if you're sitting around, you're constantly thinking negative things, something that might help are distraction techniques, but we want to be sure that you're using healthy distraction techniques, not things like coping with the use of alcohol or drugs. So sometimes people will do things like watch movies or connect with folks, figuring out what is a healthy distraction for you and using that. And then also to challenge our negative thoughts, we want to become a detective and narrow down specific thing that has happened or might be contributing to those negative thoughts or feelings. Are you feeling tired? Are you hungry? So all those things might impact the way that we're feeling and our thinking. And then when you can figure out if that's happening, you can change the way you're thinking. And then arguing back, or I like to call it self-talk. So when you're having those negative automatic thoughts, you can tell that thought to stop and then change it, replace it with a more positive thought. And obviously, if those negative thoughts keep happening, it's important to talk to somebody, a loved one, somebody that you trust, because maybe they've gone through the same thing and they have good ideas about the ways that you can manage your symptoms, or they can link you with resources. Another important aspect, obviously, in SAD is sunlight and vitamin D. So sunlight produces vitamin D, but if from the months of October to March in our area, we're not getting enough sunlight. So they just say spend time outdoors, try to arrange your space so that you're getting the optimal sunlight. You can do things like take vitamin D, install lamps or lights will help people. In 50% of incidents of SAD, light therapy will help increase moods. And exercise is really one of the best mood improvement strategies. Not only does it help our physical health, but it helps our mental health. It helps release endorphins, and it speeds up our heart rate and releases other endorphins that helps us combat SAD. Light therapy I already talked about, so consulting with a doctor about what lights might be available that'll be useful. And diet is a big one. So if people have SAD, we are craving more carbs. We might have weight changes. And it will not only if we're eating unhealthy foods, it will impact the way we feel about ourselves. And when we eat healthier foods, it will, when we change the consumption of our food to protein, it will help us feel full, and will change the way that we're feeling as well. So with SAD, our circadian rhythms are changed. So if an individual is experiencing delayed sleep phase in the winter, it's sometimes impacted by the circadian rhythm, and the treatment for that would be to create a sleep hygiene routine where we're moving back our sleep. Maybe sometimes people suggest a half hour a week, or if you can, a half hour a day, so that you're going to sleep earlier and then you're waking up earlier. And if some of those strategies aren't working, it's useful to seek out counseling. You can use such strategies as cognitive behavioral therapy, and those are some of the things that we already discussed about changing the way we're thinking, and recognizing negative thinking patterns and breaking them through self-talk. And medication can be helpful to treat all kinds of depression, including SAD. So you can talk to your doctor to find out what medication might be useful for you. In the winter blues, about 15 to 25% of individuals in Canada experience the winter blues. So it's characterized by low energy, but the difference between winter blues and SAD is that people with SAD are unable to complete activities of daily living. So with winter blues, although people are feeling low energy and unmotivated, they're still able to function. They still feel tired, might have sleep disturbances and low emotions, but it's not consistent for 2 weeks in a row. They're also feeling ups and downs, but the major difference is they're able to function and go to work and go to school. And in treating the winter blues, some things that are helpful is just seeking the sun, going outside, connecting with nature, adopting a regular sleep-wake routine, and exercising daily. So finding 20 minutes a day just to go for a walk, or, you can make a list of different exercise activities to do at home, whether it's, jumping jacks or, and then just do those activities. Again, vitamin D is a big one. Eating a balanced diet and staying connected with people is very important right now, especially with people feeling isolated and during lockdowns. So the next section we're going to talk about is social isolation. The risk of social isolation increases with age, starting at the age of 50. Other risk factors depend on demographics. So people who identify as 2S LGBTQ population are at an increased risk of being isolated. And as people age, their risk gets higher and higher. New immigrants as well are more likely to be isolated. And social isolation has many different impacts. It increases an individual's risks of dementia, depression, anxiety, as well as physical issues. And as well, it increases the risk of suicide. So these are folks that are having lack of engagement with others, minimal number of social contacts, minimal number of quality relationships. And so obviously the pandemic has created a greater sense of social isolation for folks, and especially for senior populations who are already isolated. And loneliness is subjective. It's an experience involving feelings of loss of companion, and it can have distress in it. So those are folks that they might have a lot of social contacts, but they still are feeling lonely. But it can also coincide with social isolation, poor relationships, and social isolation or loneliness are associated with 29% increased risk of heart disease and 32% increased risk of stroke. Loneliness is associated with high rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide. And as people are feeling lonely, there's an increased risk of hospitalization and an increased risk of emergency department visits. So individuals who feel a sense of belonging are those who are connected and engaged with their community. So not only do they have relationships with people, but they also are actively engaged in their community. So doing things like volunteering or working. So you can see how the pandemic can impact the way people's or a person's sense of belonging, because if they are now under restrictions to stay home, they can't connect with that community engagement or participate in the community, and they're lacking those relationships. So that increases the risk of mental health illness as well as physical illness. And just recognizing the impact of isolation and loneliness. Here's some more statistics about COVID-19 and the impact on social connection, isolation, and loneliness. 54% of Canadians are feeling lonely or isolated, according to a recent survey done. Loneliness is a major barrier to good health for everyone, and it presents some unique and severe implications for older adults, like I mentioned. So recognizing the impact of isolation and loneliness, working remotely obviously can cause people to feel isolated. So it's important to check in regularly with your team members and see how they're doing. It can lead to, like I said, depression and other mental health issues. So just being aware of significant changes you may see in your team members' personality or work production. So checking in with your employees at work to see how they're doing, if they're struggling, if there's services that they might need to be connected with, or if there's ways that you can increase social connectedness within your organization. And here's a few more tips for improving social isolation and connectedness. And so if you're an individual who's experiencing those feelings or depression, just recognizing the feelings that you're having, and just by recognizing that emotion, you're able to give yourself power back and not judging those emotions as being negative. So instead of saying, I'm feeling sad and that's horrible, just be kind to yourself, allow yourself to feel that emotion, and then go from there to how can I manage this emotion in a way that's positive for myself. And remembering to find ways to stay relaxed. I know that I had a couple weeks off work over the holidays, and when I returned to work, I was like, oh, I have a really bad headache, but I noticed that like my shoulders were tense and I'm up and I'm typing. And then if I just noticed, like, just stay relaxed, and that will help you to feel better physically, mentally, and emotionally. So taking time to find ways to relax, and however that might look in your day, you might need to take regular breaks, whether that's just to go for a walk or get up away and step away from your desk, keeping things in perspective. So just reminding yourself that this isolation period is temporary, and finding out ways that you can help the greater community, and using resources that you have at your disposal. So if you have EAP, but I'll also talk about some other resources coming up in the slides. And then So this slide speaks about how to connect to your social networks. Just video chatting. I know that we are all zoomed out these days, so maybe finding a way to stay connected, whether that's over the phone, and connecting and checking with elder relatives, friends, and neighbors who might be at risk of being lonely. So making that phone call to them, checking in with them at a socially acceptable distance, and spending at least 15 minutes a day talking to those individuals or even writing letters. So just connecting to your social networks, making time to connect and reaching out to religious organizations or any other organizations that you're involved in, because these are important parts of our life and are important aspects for feeling belonging in our community. If you feel you don't have a relationship, you can draw on these on new opportunities and build new relationships within these organizations. And this is a little bit, it's similar to the last one, just connecting virtually or connecting to colleagues just to talk about something that's unrelated to work, sharing stories. And there's other things that you can do online, virtual museums, virtual concerts, or just doing 1 minute of kindness when you find yourself scrolling through people's posts, just saying something nice to them or doing something kind for people out in the world. And then self-care obviously is another one that we've talked about, but developing healthy boundaries with people, remembering you can't pour from an empty cup. So when you're completely depleted, sometimes we can't help other people. We need to spend time caring for ourselves, and just saying no to those extra things. And then after work, if you're working from home workstation, consciously making that divide from leaving work to being at home. So sometimes for me, if I'm working at home, I will go for a walk right after work, and that'll help me to get rid of the feelings of the workday, but then just connecting with my home life. And then just making sleep a priority, going to bed around the same time and waking up around the same time every day. And then using social isolation or using isolation as an opportunity to rediscover your uniqueness and focus on opportunities that isolation provides. So taking that extra time to make positive changes in your life or pursue or set a goal, get to know what coping strategies work for you, create your own mental health toolbox of activities. And if you're bored or if people that you know are having a difficult time, just giving them information on online courses that are free, webinars, there's Coursera, they have all kinds of different courses that you can learn. Duolingo, learning a free language lessons, spring cleaning, reorganizing your cupboards. I'm sure we've all done that, or, just painting or anything at home renovations, reading, making a list of books that you've wanted to read, and then just exploring some new hobbies and keeping active. So that's really important for your mental health and will help with isolation feelings. And there's a number of different free yoga websites or mobile websites to help you to get mobile at home. And so if you're concerned about someone you love or yourself, just try to offer help to them with everyday tasks and make plans with them. Provide respect, compassion, and empathy, but you can also connect to some of the resources. So if an individual is having suicidal thoughts or self-harming, if they are substance-related intoxicated or experiencing psychosis, and the best place for them to go would be the emergency room. However, if you're in crisis, but you're not experiencing those symptoms, you can call the crisis center. They're available 24 hours a day. 7 days a week, and they have a walk-in service. They're at the 744 Olette at the Crisis and Mental Wellness Center. They're the front door to mental health services, and they're open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. And There's the Mental Health and Addictions Urgent Care Center. So that will help you with mental health and addiction supports, but not if you're experiencing psychosis or self-harm or intoxication. They will be able to connect you with supports to speak with a psychiatrist if they have one available. So these are for folks that are experiencing those symptoms, not at an emergency level, but they need to speak to someone right now. And that is located at the same building as the crisis center. And their hours of operation are from 11:30 to 7:30, Monday to Friday. And so at the TSC building downtown that I mentioned, there's also CMHA is there. So what happens is if somebody walks in, they will speak with a crisis worker and they will kind of triage them to whatever support that they need. They could need the CMHA. So we do community supports. We have community support workers and a number of resources there for mental health. And there's the Regional Children's Center that is at Hotel Duke Grace Healthcare on Connaught Street, servicing children up to 18 years old. And they have the counseling there for them from Monday to Thursday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 4:30. So that's a walk-in service, or you can connect and schedule an appointment. It's free of charge. It's for young people who are feeling sad, worried, angry, having difficulty with their relationships, being bullied, and just dealing with any personal issues. We're seeing an increase of mental health issues in children. So if you know any children, this is good information to pass along to their family members. And again, so the Family Service Windsor offers elder abuse response service, and that's for individuals 55 years or older. And it can be classified as a financial, property misuse, physical or sexual abuse, mental or emotional, caregiver neglect, or it could be an individual that you think is self-neglecting. So it could just be a one-time instance. Family Service Windsor will investigate and provide a response service. There's a Windsor-Essex Seniors Call Assurance Program, and that is through Life After 50. So they provide seniors with phone call security check-ins and referral support. So if you have a loved one or someone that you know that might be socially isolated or lonely, this is a good support for them. And again, 211 is a service available 7 days a week to provide information on local services, government, and health resources. Bounce Back is a online, virtual, or over the phone mental health support designed to help adults and youth 15 years and older manage low moods, mild to moderate depression and anxiety or worry. Again, it's delivered by a coach, and they provide support on working through any goals that an individual have. This free support has over, I believe, 120 languages. So it's very accessible and something that can help individuals support their mental health. And then again, I just have a list of resources on here. I can pass this along. It gives you more specifics to each resource. So I already talked about the mental health urgent care and CMHA. We offer individuals who have serious or moderate mental illness or substance use issues, as well as bereavement. We have therapy programs. We have court support programs, early intervention for individuals who are experiencing psychosis from the age of 14 to 35, because we know that individuals who are experiencing psychosis, the sooner they receive supports, the better their long-term outlook will look. So CMHA, again, you can connect through the TSC building downtown. Family Service Windsor offers counseling. It's a fee for service, low, it's sliding scale. So, but they do have walk-in appointments, and you can call these numbers here to get more information. Credit Canada Debt Solutions has replaced Financial Fitness, and they provide help on free consultations, budgeting sessions, and financial coaching. And they help people navigate credit repayment or bankruptcy. Connects Ontario provides information on mental health or substance use in Windsor-Essex County, but all through Ontario, really. And they can provide information about how to connect to a family doctor, put people on a list if they don't have one. And just a heads up for folks, if you know families that have young ones who do not have family doctors and they're looking to get immunizations for their children. I know that the TMC in Tecumseh is accepting children who need immunizations. So they'll give them their immunizations. The health unit was doing that, but right now they're unable to provide that service with the COVID. And then again, like I said earlier, the employment assistance program. So if your organization has an employment assistance program, just reaching out to them to get support through counseling. Kids Help Phone, so individuals 0 to 18, actually it goes up to 29 who are in crisis and distress, can call or text the number 686868 for a live chat. And I talked about Bounce Back, and here's some virtual therapy options. So there's Beacon and Ability CBT, which are CBTB. So I'm Carrie Davis, the Workplace Outreach Worker at the Canadian Mental Health Association with Windsor-Essex County branch. Part of my role is being available for on-site and at workplaces to provide information, referral resources, and one-on-one counseling, brief counseling to employees at workplaces. And then I provide mental health and well-being workshops. And that's it for me. Just like to thank some of my sponsors, which are Windsor-Essex Chamber of Commerce and Windsor-Essex Community Foundation and the Green Shield Canada. And if you'd like to, please fill out a survey and let me know how I did. Any information is helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. We really appreciated you doing the webinar for us, and you've provided everyone with a lot of helpful information. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm going to pass the floor on over to Rakesh at this point in time.
Thanks, Wendy, and Kerry, thank you. That was a fantastic presentation. We will, if you allow us, we will upload it on our website so that people can access it at any time. But there's some really good resources there. You touched upon a few things which are very near and dear to my heart in terms of, using breathing techniques, to manage your emotions, manage your mind. That's something that I've been practicing for many, many years. I'm a teacher with the Art of Living Foundation, and I've been practicing yoga and meditation for the last 24 years. So, you highlighting the importance of attending to the mind, attending to the breath, attending to the emotions resonates very well with me. So we've got a few minutes left. What we can do is we can really take ourselves and go inside, within, take our mind and see what we can do to, to rest the mind. Just like our body needs cleaning every day. We take a shower, we clean the body every day. We don't necessarily put the same amount of effort when it comes to cleaning the mind. And that is where meditation can be very helpful. So meditation is the shower for the mind. Yeah, if you can look at it that way. Just imagine the amount of data that we are storing on a daily basis. Our mind keeps on taking in information and processing it time and again, time and again. An adult mind processes about 240,000 thoughts in a day. And as Carrie mentioned, a lot of those thoughts bring emotions, some of them positive, some of them negative, and it keeps, processing that, right? And then it's just like, let's say you have a laptop or a desktop, right? You keep on putting information and processing it, and you keep on taking in more and more files. The data, the memory stick is going to get full at some point of time, and it's going to slow down. Just like that, our processor here also will slow down unless we find a way to clean it, defragment it, get rid of the clutter, get rid of those files that we don't need it, erase things which are of no value to us. And the way to do that is through meditation. Right? So what we'll do is we will go through a guided meditation for a few minutes, and then let's explore what it does to us. So what we can do is just sit, relax, and just follow the very simple directions and very simple way of really relaxing ourselves. So what I can do is we can maybe get started with we've been sitting and listening for some time. We need to really get the inertia out of the body. So if all of us can just shake our fingers, shake our hand, yeah, put in your 100% when we're doing this. The more you are 100% and participate actively and fully, the better your experience will be. So shake, 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 shake. Just imagine all the stress, all the worries, you're shaking it off, yeah, through your finger, through your hand. And now you can move your head from side to side, side to side. Just shake your body. Just be very 100% with it. Be like a child. Just, smile while you're doing it. And just imagine all the stress and all the thoughts, all the worries being shaken off from you. Nice. Big smile on the face. Nice. Okay, faster. Now you can raise your hand, bring it down, raise your hand, bring it down, and relax. Let's close your eyes and let's observe what is happening inside the body. Let's observe what's happening in the mind. Take a deep breath in and breathe it out. Relax your palms on your lap, palms facing upwards towards the ceiling. And relax your body, relax your shoulders. Let's take another deep breath in. Fill your lungs fully. And now breathe out through your mouth. Once more, let's breathe in fully, fill your lungs. And as you exhale, relax your body. Put your entire weight on the chair, on the seat that you're sitting on. Just think of whatever your weight is, 40, 50, 60, 80 kgs. Just place the entire weight of your body on the seat that you are sitting on. Let go. Now take your attention to any noise, any sound in the area that you are. Any sound, it could be a soft or a jarring sound or a noise. Take your attention to it. It could be the sound of the computer whizzing, the exhaust fan, the traffic, or someone around you talking or working. Whatever be the sound, whatever be the noise around you, take your attention to it. Let's all keep our eyes closed, only for the next few minutes. And now let's accept all the noise and the sound around us. Do not resist any noise. Accept it. You're now in harmony with your environment. Let's take our attention to our breath. Let's take attention to the tip of our nostril and observe the breath flowing in and out. The incoming breath is energizing you, and the outgoing breath is relaxing your body. Observe the rhythm of the breath. Now let's take our attention to our body. This physical body is a beautiful gift from the divine. Love your body dearly. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Take your attention to your thoughts. Good thoughts or bad thoughts, do not judge them. Let them come. Do not resist any thoughts. Let's take our attention to our feelings. Whatever be the feelings, whatever you may be feeling now, whether positive or negative feelings, embrace them. Do not resist any feelings. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Your love, your peace, your joy. Your love, your peace, your joy. Let's take a breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your feelings, your emotions. And become aware of your thoughts. Bring your attention back to your body. And bring your attention back to the room that you are in, to the environment around you. Let's take a breath in and breathe out. And slowly and gently, at your own pace, when you feel like, you may open your eyes. Good? You feeling good? Feeling relaxed? Nice. So, few minutes of meditation, incorporating some breathing techniques can really settle you down, yeah, no matter where you are. So incorporate some meditation techniques, some breathing techniques in your daily life, makes a huge difference. 15 minutes of meditation is equivalent to 4 hours of deep sleep. Yeah, that's how powerful it is. Very important to really recharge your batteries. Yeah. Always remember about this analogy of a computer, that needs to be cleaned up. You need to get rid of the files. You need to defragment. Our processor, the big processor, needs the same thing. Yeah, and meditation is a beautiful tool for that. So I wish you the best. There are some great resources Carrie has shared with you. You can also go to artofliving.org. There is free meditation, free yoga there. You can, access that as well. A lot of great resources, and this fantastic resource that Carrie has also mentioned. So take advantage of that and stay healthy. We will surely get through this period of uncertainty and challenge, but we are all in it together. And let's help each other out. And I again want to commend what CMHA does for our community. And Carrie, thanks for everything, and for your entire organization for being such a great resource for Windsor-Essex area. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
So a great big thank you to everybody for attending, and thank you again to Rakesh and to Kerry. And I hope everybody has a great day. Bye for now.